The Battle of Yultong, a story of Filipino bravery. Welcome to Echoes Within, your channel for uncovering remarkable tales of courage, valor, and heroism. In today's episode, we delve deep into the inspiring story of the Battle of Yultong, a testament to the bravery and strategic prowess of Filipino soldiers during the Korean War. This detailed narrative not only highlights their heroism, but also explores the strategies and tactics that defined their stand. As we journey through this historical event, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated with more captivating stories. The Korean War. The Korean War, which began on June 25, 1950, was a significant conflict in the Cold War era, pitting the forces of the United Nations, primarily led by the United States, and South Korea against the communist armies of North Korea and China. The war, characterized by brutal combat and harsh conditions, drew in nations from around the globe, including the Philippines. This was a conflict fought on a divided peninsula, with the 38th parallel as the key demarcation line between North and South Korea. The Philippines Commitment. The Philippines, under President Elpidio Quirino, responded to the call for assistance by sending the Philippine Expeditionary Forces to Korea. This marked the first time Filipino troops were deployed overseas to fight under the United Nations banner. The Philippine government and its people saw this not only as an opportunity to support a fellow democratic nation, but also as a chance to stand firm against the spread of communism in Asia. The commitment was also a demonstration of the Philippines' emerging role in international affairs post World War II, showcasing its willingness to contribute to global peacekeeping efforts. Arrival in Korea. Comprising 5 battalion combat teams, the Philippine Expeditionary Forces to Korea, or PFTOK, arrived in South Korea in September 1950. The 10th Battalion Combat Team, 10th BCT, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Dionisio S. Ojeda, was the first to arrive. These Filipino soldiers were thrust into a conflict far from home, facing an unfamiliar enemy in treacherous terrain and freezing temperatures, a stark contrast to the tropical climate they were accustomed to. The 10th BCT, also known as the Fighting Filipinos, quickly established a reputation for their discipline, fighting spirit, and adaptability. The build-up to Yultong. The Battle of Yultong took place during the Chinese Spring Offensive in April 1951. The Chinese People's Volunteer Army launched a series of coordinated attacks aimed at recapturing lost territories and pushing the UN forces back. The 10th BCT, then part of the United States 65th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division, was stationed near the Imaginative River in an area known as Yultong. This location was strategically important due to its proximity to key supply routes and its potential as a defensive stronghold. The strategic importance of Yultong. Yultong's significance lay in its terrain and location. The area featured rolling hills and dense vegetation, providing natural defensive advantages. The high ground offered excellent observation points, crucial for monitoring enemy movements. Additionally, the Imjin River served as a natural barrier, complicating enemy crossings and providing a defensive buffer. Holding Yultong was essential for maintaining the integrity of the UN defensive line and preventing a breakthrough that could jeopardize the entire front. The night of April 22, 1951. On the evening of April 22nd, the Chinese forces launched their assault under the cover of darkness, aiming to overwhelm the UN positions through sheer numbers and surprise. The Filipino soldiers, along with their allied forces, found themselves under intense attack. The Chinese employed human wave tactics, a strategy where they sent waves upon waves of infantry to overrun enemy positions. This tactic was designed to exploit numerical superiority and create psychological pressure on the defenders. The defense of Yultong. Despite being outnumbered and facing a relentless onslaught, the 10th BCT stood their ground. Their position at Yultong was crucial in holding the line and preventing the Chinese from breaking through. The Filipino soldiers, displaying extraordinary bravery and resilience, fought with tenacity. Their defense was characterized by a combination of effective use of terrain, disciplined fire control, and coordinated counterattacks. The leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Ojeda. Lieutenant Colonel Ojeda's leadership was instrumental during the battle. He led by example, ensuring that his men remained steadfast even as the situation grew increasingly dire. His calm demeanor and strategic acumen were vital in organizing a coherent defense amidst the chaos. Ojeda's ability to maintain order and boost morale under fire was crucial in sustaining the battalion's fighting spirit. He constantly moved among his troops, offering words of encouragement and direct orders, reinforcing their resolve to hold their positions. Tactical deployment and fire control. The 10th BCT's defense strategy involved the strategic deployment of forces in a way that maximized their combat effectiveness. They utilized a layered defense, positioning their troops in staggered lines to create overlapping fields of fire. This tactic ensured that the advancing Chinese troops would face sustained and concentrated fire as they approached. Machine gun nests and mortar teams were placed at key points to provide both direct and indirect fire support, disrupting enemy formations and inflicting heavy casualties. Acts of heroism. Stories of individual heroism emerge from the Battle of Yultong. One such tale is that of Lieutenant Jose Arteaga Jr., who, despite being severely wounded, refused evacuation and continued to lead his men until he succumbed to his injuries. His sacrifice epitomized the bravery and selflessness that defined the Filipino soldier's spirit. Another notable act of valor was by Corporal Ramiro Arteaga, who manned a machine gun position and provided covering fire for his comrades, holding off the enemy until reinforcements arrived. His actions were crucial in preventing a breach in the defensive line. Strategic countermeasures. Throughout the battle, the 10th BCT employed several strategic countermeasures to blunt the Chinese offensive. One such measure was the use of pre-registered artillery coordinates. Prior to the battle, the Filipino soldiers had meticulously mapped out potential enemy approach routes and registered their artillery to these coordinates. This preparation allowed them to call in precise and devastating artillery strikes on advancing Chinese units, disrupting their momentum and inflicting significant casualties. Night operations and patrolling. Understanding the importance of situational awareness, the 10th BCT conducted regular night patrols and reconnaissance missions. These operations aim to gather intelligence on enemy movements and intentions, providing the commanders with valuable information to anticipate and counter Chinese attacks. The patrols also serve to harass and disorient the enemy. Turning the tide. As the battle raged on, the 10th BCT, along with other UN forces, managed to hold their positions, preventing a breakthrough. Their tenacity bought crucial time for reinforcements to arrive and counter the Chinese offensive. The Filipino soldiers' stand at Yultong was a significant factor in blunting the Chinese advance and stabilizing the front lines. The successful defense of Yultong also demonstrated the effectiveness of combined arms operations, where infantry, artillery, and air support worked in concert to achieve strategic objectives. Coordinated defense with Allied forces. The 10th BCT's cooperation with Allied forces was another key element in their successful defense. The Filipinos worked closely with American units, coordinating their defensive efforts and sharing intelligence. This collaboration ensured a unified response to the Chinese attacks, maximizing the effectiveness of their combined firepower. The integration of Filipino and American forces highlighted the importance of interoperability and mutual support in coalition warfare. Aftermath and recognition. The Battle of Yultong ended with the Filipino soldiers having successfully defended their position. The 10th BCT's bravery and effectiveness in combat were recognized and lauded by both their allies and adversaries. They had demonstrated exceptional valor, earning a place of honor in the annals of military history. Their performance in battle earned them numerous accolades, including commendations from the United States and South Korean governments. The legacy of their courage continued to inspire future generations of Filipino soldiers. Conclusion. In the Battle of Yultong during the Korean War, Filipino soldiers from the 10th Battalion Combat Team showcased extraordinary bravery and unyielding honor. Despite being outnumbered and under intense enemy fire, they stood their ground and defended their position with unwavering courage. Their determination and commitment in the face of overwhelming odds exemplify true heroism. Let their legacy inspire you to face your own challenges with the same strength and resilience. If you found this story inspiring, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Echoes Within for more powerful tales of courage and perseverance.